everybody, and we are on episode 121. I didn't even have to check this time because I remembered. It's
Nice,
amazing. I
Sean. Good
know.
for you.
Look at me. I'm
It
learning.
only
I'm
took
growing.
121 episodes.
Right? I know. Oh, only, no big
Only.
deal. And we are about to round out 2025. We've got like what is it? One more? Yeah, like probably like one more left, maybe two. Maybe we'll get the second one in before the end of the year. But yeah, so we're going into 2026. So we figured for today we could kind of talk a little bit about setting those goals, using this time frame from between now and the end of the year to set those goals for next year. Because I feel like, at least for me anyway, and we'll go into this more detail, but this is kind of like a from anywhere from like Christmas to New Year's is kind of like a nebulous area. Like people don't really know what day it is and things like that. So we're talking about how to use that time frame. So, but before we get to that, I also wanted to say, wait, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, hit the buttons.
I thought that's
That's
where you were going, but now we're going
that's not
somewhere else.
where I was going. But I wanted to say that I believe there was only one person that agreed with me on the cockroaches versus Christmas question. So everybody else chose to not celebrate Christmas. I chose to sit with the cockroaches, and there was like one other person that agreed with me.
Sean, just not a we're not fans of cockroaches here on Behind the Bikini, okay?
Apparently. I know. Apparently, I'm like, I don't know. For me, like I said, it's like a more of a. I just love Christmas so much. Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
want
but
to
you're
give it
only
up.
canceling it 1 year,
I
right?
don't
That was the
care.
question.
I don't care. For me, Christmas is like Christmas starts when Thanksgiving ends. So for me, that's like a whole month of things. That's Christmas. So
Exactly. So if you're celebrating 30 days out of 31 and you only have the one removed, it's pretty damn good. I like your odds on that versus being with 1,000
well, I mean, I can
cockroaches.
I can understand that viewpoint like that. I get it like that, but I wasn't thinking of it that way. I was thinking having to cancel all of that. So that's from my mind. My
Would you like to
process
change your
was
answer now that we've added some more context to the question?
no. I'm still gonna pick cockroaches. I still don't want to give up Christmas. I'm sorry, you
Okay,
guys.
fine. That's okay.
I'm
That's what
I'm
that's
a
why there's
diehard. It's literally my favorite time of year. It's literally
that's
my
why
favorite
there's
day of the
two
year.
people on this
That's
podcast
right.
with completely different views, so
That's
it makes it
right.
interesting.
Absolutely, and that's what we always say. We say when there's two people that think the same way, then one of you is not necessary. So there you go.
Guess both of us are necessary
We're
today.
necessities in
Yes.
life.
We're essential.
We are. We're essential workers right here, right here.
Yes.
So if COVID wants to make a resurgence, we're essential.
Oh God. I feel like we're due for something like that, but I hope
You
not.
know, I'm about to like I'm sitting here like let me knock on some wood, right?
I
Like
know.
we don't need any of that right now. Oh goodness. But yeah, so how was your week this week?
Yeah, how was my week this week? I feel like I'm working harder right now when I'm supposed to be off and enjoying myself than I
Yeah.
did like mid-season. It's just work's insane right now. I think everybody it's almost like the 5-week freak out, but everybody's just getting ready to prep, so everybody's just very emotional. And
Hmm.
ironically too, if anybody watched last week's episode, I started my period last week for the
Yeah.
first time in 2 years on the 10th, and then everybody's checking in this week. Everybody got their period around the same time. Like, look at me cycling in with my girls. So I think everybody was just hormonal and
Yeah.
emotional and scared and excited and wants, to plan all the shows. And then I had a 3-hour travel meeting one day, and then we're planning the summit. We had another 2 hours. So it's a lot. There's a lot going
Yeah.
on behind the scenes right now, but I'm just blessed to be in this position and have all this stress. So I just remind myself on that on the stressful days.
Yeah. No, I get that because like this is the first year for a decade I haven't been planning CCTS. So I understand where you're feeling because that's how I was every year at this time. People are always like, how's your Christmas? Like, I don't friggin' know. Like it's just going by like I've got too many other things to worry about right now. You know what I mean? So this has been
Yeah.
the first year in 10 years where I haven't had that. So it's a little bit different for me this year. Kind of like it better.
Yeah, I'm sure you're enjoying the break and you pass the hat off to me. Thanks a lot.
That's right. You're welcome. You're
No,
welcome.
but it's
Enjoy.
gonna be awesome. It's gonna be an awesome event. Like I'm really, really excited. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's and to like once we get through these preliminary stages of the summit, and the goal is just like you, Sean, like most of it's done then at that point,
Hmm.
like going into the next event, just like small tweaks here and there. So we're just in those early phases of a big event like this. And All of our sponsors are really excited too. So I don't know. It's just it's good. It's just a lot of work up front right now. We just want to
Yeah.
make it a really amazing event.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because like you said, it is the first year, so you're kind of just guessing some things, right? You don't have feedback from people that have come yet, things like that. Once you do it and you get the feedback, also working with new venues, every time you work with a new venue, it's going to be something, there's going to be something thrown in.
Yeah.
That's why we tended. How many venues did we have over the years? We had one, two, three, four, five. We had five venues over the 10 years. So every year we tried to upgrade a little bit, tried to do things a little bit better, things like that, and made changes and stuff. And it's those are the things that if you're really passionate about what you're doing, you want to do that. You don't want to just get into a rut and do the same thing year after year after year, because then people are like, okay, well, I went last year. How's it going to be different this year? So you're always trying to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be things every year that you have to fix and focus on and all that kind of stuff. But the first year is hard because you're just kind of rolling into it almost blind because you're not really sure what people are going to respond well to.
Yeah, basically like our approach is like obviously education. Obviously, you guys know that we love education and but then also like taking from all the coaches like what we did in the beginning or middle half of the year was like what problems and issues are we all seeing on a team wide level with our check-ins or our athletes and trying to take those issues and problems and talk about them in the summit. That way all of our athletes start off the year getting all their questions answered and knowing what expectations are. So like I'm in a group right now that we're putting together a slideshow about like check-ins and how to be coachable and communicating with your coach and then also like what a show weekend with FBF is like because a lot of
Yeah.
athletes don't know that. So just taking all those questions and things that we see in our check-ins of like, short answers or maybe too much information or, how to properly communicate when something is an issue or what to bring up or what not to. So I really do think that there's going to be so much good positive benefit, but of course we're going to set like a feedback loop, after the weekend too, to get everybody's feedback and see what they liked, what they didn't like, and then make those adjustments for next year.
Yeah, and I think that part's super important. I wish that more like show promoters would do that.
Same.
Because I think we'd get better shows, you know what I mean? Like take
Yeah.
your customers' feedback. I mean, we did that every year at CCTS. It was an exit survey every year. And it was anonymous, so the girls could reply whatever they wanted to reply without any kind of fear or anything like that. But it really helped us because there were certain things where we thought were really good that they didn't really care about, and vice versa. Helps us with choosing people to speak. Like there's been times where we thought that somebody would be a good speaker, we brought them in and the feedback was not great, things like that. So it's like, okay, well, those are things that we can use
Change.
going forward,
Yeah. Yeah.
because if you're passionate about what you do and you want to bring a good product to the table, you want to know what your customers want. At the end of the day, you got to listen to them. They're the ones buying the product.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like I think something is a great idea, but I'm
Yep.
not the one giving it to the consumer. So the consumer really drives the ship here.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So yeah, so this is a fun time frame for you. For me, I don't have to do all that.
So it's a really good time for you.
I know, I know. And part of it's almost like though, but I'm like sitting here like, okay, what next? Like
Did I see
that's
on your
part of it.
stories you might have picked a show?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna shoot for the St. Pete Pro.
Oh,
Um,
I'll be
yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah. Because there's not a lot. I keep going back and looking at the schedule, and they're not adding more. Like I haven't seen any international ones be put on there yet. So I do think there's gonna be more added. The only international ones we see right now are the Canadian ones. So there's not really a lot in like June, July timeframe. And that's where I was looking to compete. So there's St. Pete Pros in June. If I happen to be ready early or something, I think it's Orlando is Shannon Day's one. I think it's
Girl
Girl Power.
power.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I think that's like May 30th or something along that line.
April
Um,
28th.
well, no, there is one that's in May because I looked at it and it may not be Girl Power, maybe something
Okay.
else, but there is one in May and it's in Florida. Then outside of that, the only options are Canadian ones, and I don't want to go to Canada. So sorry, don't want to go to Canada. So like it is what it is. So my thought process is I'm gonna shoot for St. Pete Pro. That's the time frame I want anyway. Um, barring something else popping up or whatever in there that I might want to do instead. So the good thing about doing St. Pete is it does have open and masters. So, that's helpful for me too. I am looking at most of the shows that I'm looking at are the ones that include both.
Good.
So um And then just kind of go from there, see how I feel. I'm not really going to make any kind of commit. Like I'm not, this isn't really even a solid commitment. It's more like this is what we're shooting for. And as the schedule develops, we'll figure it out.
Go from there. Yeah.
Um, I feel like, and I haven't prepped for foot metal yet, but I feel like this is a look that I can maintain pretty easily. You know what I mean? So I'm really only about, like as of today, I'm 11 pounds off of my stage weight. So it's really
Should be an
not.
easy prep. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's stage weight for bikini, which I feel like
Right.
I'm gonna be a couple pounds heavier for fit model because I don't have to get as lean. So um it's not gonna be that for lack of a better word, it's not gonna be that difficult for me to hold it. So my thought process is, go into one, maybe two shows in the summer, see how they go. Um and then maybe end out the year here in Vegas because there's two. There's one in October and there's one in November here in Vegas. So I could do both or one of those, and then just call it at that point, because I'd really,
Yeah.
because again, I go back to, I want to do something where I can have friends and family there, and Florida can't really do that. So, it's like I also, and like I said, I don't want to wait another year to get on stage either, so I gotta make decisions on that regard.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
cool. St. Pete's
yeah.
will be a great show. I love David Herskovitz, and then I'll be
Yeah.
there too.
Well, and I love St. Pete too. Like, I mean, I used to live in Tampa and all that too, so it's a nice area. Like, it's a lot of fun down there. So, overall, the only thing that I don't like about Florida is the humidity. So,
You know how
so
I
there's
feel
that.
about that.
So there's that. But it's an easy place to get to. It's an easy place to travel to. They're really good about making the shows easy too because they just have so many of them down there. They do them all the time. So I think that's a good goal. And we'll just see where it goes from there. And again, I actually told Jamie today in my check-in, I was like, I just want to start a slow cut. Um, really in January. My biggest concern cutting this time around is I don't want to go too fast because I don't want to lose muscle and I don't want to have saggy skin. So
Mhm.
especially being older, you have to think about skin elasticity, and the faster you cut, the worse your skin looks. So I'm like, I just want to go at really, 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 really nice and slow. We actually started cutting back a little bit over the last few weeks as far as macros and stuff like that were concerned. I was actually getting to the point where I couldn't eat anything. I was just having a hard time. I had no appetite, no nothing. So we started cutting the macros a little bit, just so it's more I was more capable of eating my food because I was just having a hard time with all that. So I think I feel like I'm in a good spot with that right now as far as my food is concerned and activity level and all of that. So I think just kind of staying where I'm at, and just because I've been dropping about a pound, a half a pound each week.
It's
So,
great.
if I just do that all the way through till June, I think we're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be
So
so easy. So
yeah.
easy.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal. That's kind of my thing. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, I got my routine down to about 40 seconds right now. So I can easily get it down to 30, no problem. And this is something that I preach to my posing clients too. It's like whenever I turn my posing, or whenever I turn my progress photos in and my, just everything each week for check-ins, I pose on both sides. So even when I'm doing my routine, I pose on both sides. I always hit both front poses. So I won't do that when it comes show day. So I can cut that down and I can cut that out. But yeah, for right now, I do have the two sides just because you don't know how your body's going to develop. B, you don't want to create imbalances in your frame and in your physique. This is actually something I saw Rihanna post about today with her posing
Hip shift. Yep.
check-in. Hip shift. Yep, I saw that. So she feels like she's finally starting to correct that. I actually noticed this. I don't know, because I know that Phoebe is working with Jamie now, Phoebe Hagen, and she's doing the Arnold, which we can talk about that because the Arnold list came out this week too. One thing that I've always said about Phoebe is one glute is significantly bigger than the other one, always, and it's because of posing. I mean, from pinching off that side and stuff. That she just posted up recent progress photos like this week at some point, and this was the first time I looked at her glutes and I felt like they were relatively even. So I was like, all right, she's been working on it.
Yeah, this is going to be a Phoebe we've never seen before. That's for sure. She's just
Mhm.
like, she's in such a good spot right now. She's ahead of schedule and she looks incredible.
Yeah.
So it's
That
going to be
was
fun.
that was just something I was, again, me being somebody who looks at the overall aesthetic and stuff, that was always something that bothered me with the glute. situation. But this, like I said, this is the first time I looked at her check-in photos. I'm like, okay, she's been correcting it. All right, this is we're good. We're good now. It's crazy what those little things can make such a huge difference.
Well, especially at the pro level, like that's one thing that a judge could point out, and you could lose a placing to somebody that's a little bit more complete,
Yeah,
So, that's important. Those small little innuendos really do make a huge difference.
absolutely, absolutely, and especially when we're talking about a division that's just so subjective. You know what I mean? It's like there's certain things that we can create objectivity about, and that's size of certain pieces and parts and stuff like that, and balance or whatever. So that's as objective as we can get in those scenarios. And there's a lot of subjectivity on top of that.
Yeah. Did you happen to watch Fit Model at December Nationals?
I didn't. I did see the girls. Like I just looked at the girls that won. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what I looked at. And personally, this is my thing. I'm like, I still don't think we fully have the look, even with some of the girls that won pro cards. That's why I'm only really paying attention to those girls, right?
Yeah.
Because outside of the pro card winners, I think we're really there's still a lot of improvement to be made, just like any other division. It's just got to find its feet.
Yeah.
But I will say I really liked the look of the girl that won the overall. I really liked her look a lot.
Yeah.
Great proportion and shape, great muscularity, but not too conditioned. Beautiful girl. Like
Yeah.
she's an actual model. Like she does actual modeling. So it's like, okay, this is what we're looking for right here. She's very marketable. That's what we're looking for with Fit Model. We want that girl that can go from competing in a bodybuilding show to going and putting on a swimsuit and walking in swim week or whatever. I looked at her Instagram a little bit, and she does some modeling for like Honey Burdette, which is, like lingerie modeling and stuff like that. So like she's gorgeous. Those are the kinds of looks we want right there.
Yeah.
I'd just like to take a moment to welcome our new channel partners, Prozis. If you're unfamiliar with them, go ahead and go down into my description box now, click on the link, go check out their site. They are the leading supplement sports nutrition company based out of Portugal, been around for 17 years. You might be asking what makes Prozis unique? Well, everything that they make is made in-house or with trusted partners. They have to go through rigorous testing in Portugal in order to even get any products on the market. So what you're gonna find really high quality, pure supplementation. And one of the biggest things for me is I have some GI issues. So being able to eat some of these more healthy protein treats and things like that and not have any gut issues, worth its weight in gold. Go check them out. Click on the link in my description box below. Use the code Cuties10 to get all of your discounts and even some special surprises. They're always putting out some amazing promotions. Let them know that I sent you and let me know what you think. Thanks again for watching and thank you for supporting our channel. Now, go optimize your own athletic abilities and check out Prozis.com.
Yeah, I liked the overall, but I was definitely surprised by the amount of density I saw
Oh
on
yeah.
stage and what was getting awarded. And
Oh yeah.
I agree with you. I don't really think we have the look yet. Honestly, as a coach, I'm confused, so and that's just me being vulnerable, definitely from like where we are going from where we started at the beginning of the year to me is different. I'm a bigger fan of what we were picking in the beginning of the year versus this show. So we just need more time. We need
Yeah.
more time with it. But yeah, I know a lot of people were confused on that. They're like, wow, Fit Model is dense. I'm like, yes, it
Oh, yeah.
wasn't meant to not be a no muscle category. It's just going to be the smallest amount of muscle. But some of these women were big. And again, a lot of athletes I think are going to jump out of bikini and try Fit Model next year to try to get a pro card. So we're going to see some of that kind of crossover of the women that like aren't really sure and things like that. But if they're showing up and they're getting those top placings and they're getting awarded, but if they put on a different suit, their bikini, that's where it's really confusing. So
I agree. For me, and I agree with what you're saying too, like where the category was supposed to be versus where it is. I personally love the look of the denser like muscle, like somebody who's been an athlete their whole life. And I've said this several times before, I'm just not a fan of the conditioning going to extreme. Because for a female that really messes up our hormones, right? When you start getting, and from not having your period for 2 years, you know what I mean? It's like once you start getting to those really low levels of body fat as a female, that fucks with your hormones. So for me, I prefer muscle. As much muscle as you want to put on your frame, I'm good with that. Just don't go that far to the extreme with conditioning.
yeah,
So that's why I really enjoyed her look specifically. But I agree with you that that's not what they were picking at the beginning of the year. So I agree with that sentiment. So what that kind of points to when we get into the pro league is I think they're going to go for girls that are more muscular, because we're going to have girls that come down from bikini who are already going to have that muscle base. They're already going to have that density. And we all know judges' eyes go to bigger, better. Always. Always judges' eyes go that way. They never go down, they always go up. So my concern is I just hope that they can keep the conditioning in check on the pro league. Don't reward the full hamstring tie-ins. If we can do that, then I'm good with that. I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Yeah.
That's my one caveat.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to see it on a pro stage. Like I almost want to see like the pros that are going to jump down into fit model and then the pros that were awarded this past year together and then kind of
Mhm.
see that group mixed together.
Absolutely. And I think part of the problem with this too is that, to be honest, we haven't, like I said about nationals, we don't have a lot of shows, these national shows where the quality of competitors is really dense. You know what I mean? Like there's one or two in every class that look good.
Yeah.
If that. So it's like the very first pro qualifier with which was the Pittsburgh natural pro qualifier. We had like one girl that fit the criteria in the entire lineup. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So the judges do have to just pick from what shows up. So, that's part of it. So I think once we start getting a lot of these girls on the pro stage next year, we'll start seeing a better, I think a better, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like middle ground, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the girls that turned pro like early in the season, like hopefully they've been in an improvement season and adding some muscle, making some improvements. And then, we're expecting the pros that are coming down from bikini, they are going to be a more dense physique.
Mhm.
And then we kind of have like that middle line. And what is that middle line? That's, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see kind of what body is going to get awarded. So
Yep.
we will keep watching. We will keep
Yeah.
studying.
Well, because the biggest thing I get questions about too with this is where do masters athletes fall in all of this, right? I mean, and right now there's just not a lot of opportunity for masters because the division is so new. I was like, you got to remember, I was like, when you look back at when wellness started, they didn't have any wellness pro shows for masters the first year. They have them for fit model, so I actually think that this is a better division for masters. Like I said before, like one of the things I really noticed last year when I competed in bikini is my skin did suffer. Like I saw that. That's the first year that I saw that happen, at the age of 43. I'm like, oh, I got a little bit of loose skin underneath there now that I'm getting lean enough, you know what I mean? So it's like if we don't have to do that as masters athletes and get that lean anymore, like we can keep a little bit of fullness there. I think we can keep the roundness a little bit better. I think that can actually be in our benefit as long as our skin is in good, healthy condition to start with, so I think that can actually be helpful for masters athletes because that's the other part too. When I get really lean, I clearly look older. We get rid of the face fat, all of that stuff. You start looking older. So if we're already older, that's the problem as we get leaner.
Gonna
So
lean into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. And I've said this several times on here. I've said it to Jamie several times. Like that is my biggest concern. I just don't want my skin to really suffer from this because I see what it does to girls,
Yeah, for sure. Right. And it's a hard part with the skin thing because there's only so much you can do
Yeah.
about it, so I understand.
Yeah, it's just a fact of aging. It's just a fact of aging. I will say this. This has been very interesting. So just a random side note. I have a client right now. She's in her 50s. She's a lifestyle client. And we've been working together for a year and 4 months, whatever August was, something like that. Anyway, I put her onto 5-amino for peptides, right? Her biggest thing is she really wants a six-pack. She wants a six-pack abs. She's dropped like, I don't know, 30 pounds or something since we started working together. And in the last 5 months, it is insane how much better her freaking abs look just from taking the 5-amino. I was like, God damn. I was like, man, I'm like, can I just clone you for everybody? Because it was crazy. That's the only thing that we changed. And it's like, it's crazy to be able to see her skin tighten up, her muscle definition get better, everything. And that's literally all we've changed. Her weight's the same, her macros are the same, her workouts are the same. The only thing that we changed is that. And all of a sudden she's starting to get that six-pack at fucking 56 years old, and I'm like, all right, so there is some magic in these things. That's crazy.
The
Absolutely
Amino
crazy.
does work, that's for sure.
Yeah. I was like, so there's helpful things. I'm like, she's never gonna look like she's 25, but damn. I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, we good.
No, I have a master's like high level national athlete right now, and one of her pieces of feedback was actually to develop a six pack. And then when they said that,
Okay.
I was like, yeah, I could totally see that. So we've been working really hard on that. She's so close. I think she was only one or two spots away last time she stepped on stage. So I'm really excited to get her back on stage. But yeah, she's been running 5 amino and then other things like that. But it's so cool like to see the peptide world and how it's helping, especially our masters athletes for
Yes.
sure. We're not having to take things because as masters, we probably have hormone replacement therapy in. So, hormones are kind of touch and go at that age, especially like if you're very close to perimenopause or menopause. So we don't want to kind of play with that if we don't have to. So
Yep.
I just feel like the peptides has just opened up a brand new world for that. And it's been super cool to
Absolutely.
utilize them for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, so I'm sitting over here. I'm like, okay, what can I do for my skin? Let's see. Like, and we already know. I've been working with a lot of stuff before. We talk about this all the time in our little coaches chat and all that kind of thing. But that's it's a real concern. It is for me. That's the number one thing for me. So yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I talk about it with athletes all the time. I'm like, there's some things we can correct and some it's just a
Mhm.
part of life. It's a part of
Right.
age.
That's right. It is what
That's
it
why we
is.
have master's divisions. It's
Yep.
putting everybody on the same playing field. Obviously somebody has, better skin than another and things like that, but we could say that about muscle. We could say that
Mhm.
about glamour. We could say that about a lot of things. So
Yep.
it is
Yep.
what it is.
Well, the saying is that Father Time is undefeated. So we can
Yes.
try to push him off as much as possible, win a few battles, but we are not going to win the war. It just is what it is. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody who has ever gone to their grave looking like they did when they were 25. It just doesn't happen. So sorry.
Just doesn't happen that way. Unfortunately. So more
Unfortunately.
Botox and lip
I know,
injections
right?
and
I
all
gotta
the
get mine
things.
touched up. I'm like, every time I get on this podcast, I'm like, oh, I gotta get my Botox touched up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's time. It's time. I try to drag it out as long as I can. I really wanted to wait because I wanted it fresh for the new year. So I'm like, okay, I think we can. We're at the point now where I'm like, I gotta go do it.
Yeah, you've waited too long.
I know. I always tend to do that. And I'm like, as soon as I can see all that movement, I'm like, nope, not good anymore. I gotta go. Gotta go right now.
Yeah, like I'm like an every 12 weeks type gal. Like put me on a
Yeah.
calendar, I'll be here.
I'm like, when did because I had that issue I talked about on here where I had the eye droop. So that was back in the last time I got it done was the last week of August. So yeah, it's about time.
Wow, that was that long ago.
Yeah, it was the last week of August. I got it done. So I was fresh for my birthday in September.
Crazy.
Isn't it funny how
Wow.
fast time flies? Oh my God.
Funny, I don't think is the word, Sean. Scary? Yes.
Scary. Yeah, it's scary. It
Yes,
goes by really
yes.
quick. You better be enjoying what you're doing because it does. It goes by
Literally.
really, really, really fast. So
100%.
yeah, so this week I went to that holiday party at
Oh
my
yeah, how was
little
that?
studio. It was fun. It was a good time. They had all sorts of stuff planned. Like we played games and sang karaoke and had a twerking contest and everything like that. Which I'm gonna be a little bitch about this right now. I made it into the finals of the twerking contest, and I was the only one that made it into the finals of the twerking contest that was not an instructor. So
Damn.
no, I was like, they all teach here. I was like, what the fuck?
They should have been disqualified.
I know. I mean, it was just for shits and giggles and fun anyway. It was not a big deal. But I was like, I made it to finals for this working contest.
Put that on your resume.
I know, but it was a lot of fun. We did a white elephant contest thing, so I actually got a massage gun out of that, so that was good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. I was at the end of the. Have you ever done a white elephant gift thing? So I was at the end of the circle, so I actually had a huge advantage. So I was able to. You can steal or you can pass. You can go pick a new gift. So there was two girls that got massage guns, so I went and grabbed one of the massage guns. I'm gonna steal. I want that.
What did you switch with her?
I didn't actually pick
Oh, you just
a
stole.
gift.
That's right. You
Yeah.
steal before
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was at the end, there was only like three gifts that were still sitting there to pick. So I'd already seen everybody open their gifts pretty much. So it was either you pick an unknown or you pick a known. And I was like, oh, I know I can use the massage gun, so I'm gonna go grab the massage gun.
That was a good grab. Nice
Yeah,
job.
it was a good one. It was a good one. So it's a little mini one, so I can travel with it. That's why I
Oh,
wanted
I
it
love
too.
that. I have one of those too.
Yeah, I have a regular size one, but the mini one, I'm like, I can stick that in my bag and we're good to go,
Yeah.
So, so happy about that. Then after that, I spent the rest of the night putting together a dresser. Like I got it's sitting over there, but I put together a dresser. Oh God, what a pain in the ass. I don't like freaking furniture from Amazon.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Timeline adds up.
Yeah. But that was my evening. So it was very Christmassy. I had Christmas music on the whole night, and had a good time. And I ate really well at the holiday party too. Like everybody brought like there was stuff that was not good for you, but then there was stuff that was good, healthy choices. So whenever you go to holiday parties, try to stock up on the salad. And there was a lot of protein sources. So there was like steak and there was meatballs and all that kind of stuff. So get that stuff first, and then have your. By the time you're ready for dessert, you don't even want it.
You don't
That
even
was
want
what.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was for me. I got salad and meats and stuff like that, and by that time I was like, I was good. I brought my little fruit salad, and that's what I had. I had fruit
Nice
salad.
and
So
full.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was good. It was a fun time.
I'm going to be the bad influence on Christmas because Jamie's entrusted me to be the chef. So I'm going to be making like 3 different lasagnas and
Okay.
yeah, lots of fats. I was like, so we need to balance this out with like a salad and a
Yeah,
hummus tray and a fruit platter.
yeah, yep. Well, what we're gonna do is our thing. We've done this several times. I don't know if have you ever heard of Wegmans?
No.
Okay, so it's an East Coast thing. It's based out of Rochester. Like that's where I went to school. That's where it was based. It's a big like I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a warehouse version of Harris Teeter or Whole Foods, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
So, it's one of those things that if you have Wegmans in your town up East Coast and stuff like that, you got a cool town kind of thing. Anyway, so our thing is we go to Wegmans and we pick out all of our Christmas food, whether it's, we go and get steaks or we go and get, appetizers or sides or whatever. So we just go up and down the aisles and we spend like 2 hours at Wegmans just picking out our stuff. So we don't ever actually cook anything. We just get all the stuff from there and then just, it's like pre-prepared everything.
Oh,
Because
that's cool.
their food's really good. Like
That's fun.
yeah, they have everything there. They have everything from sushi to pizza to butcher stuff, like bakeries, like everything. They've got everything you could possibly want there. So that's what we do. We just walk up and down the aisles, get charcuterie and all that kind of stuff, So
So
that's
do you
really
do
good.
this on Christmas or do you do it on Christmas Eve?
Well, we do it on Christmas Eve for Christmas Day.
Cool.
Yeah. 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 So
That's a cool tradition.
it is. And it's fun because then we don't have to get these big, huge dishes either. 'Cause it's just me and Dan. So it's not like we're
Right.
going to sit there and eat everything in it. Like then you have leftovers for weeks and he eats just like I do. So it's like we don't want a bunch of shit in the house. It's just going to go bad, So
Are you going to be in Vegas or are you going to go home to
no, we're going to be in
PA?
Virginia. Yeah,
Fun.
we'll be in
See
Virginia.
you with the
So
puppies.
yeah. So we'll be
Good.
there. Yeah, because they don't have Wegmans out here, so they just have it out east. So
Yeah. Yeah. I've never
but
heard of
in
it.
Virginia. Yeah, it's one of those places again, it's like an experience kind of grocery store,
Kind of like
So
Buckeyes. I've never been there either, but everybody always
oh
talks about
yeah, I've heard of that. I think it's Bucky's, right?
Bucky's.
Yeah. I have heard of it. I've never been.
Me
But
neither.
yeah, people yeah,
We're gonna
people
get a
rave
lot of
about it.
comments on this because there's so many people that do road trips just to stop at one of these places. We're gonna
Yes.
get a lot of hate. I'm sorry,
And
we've
I
never been. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm in
I mean,
prep
I've
all the
driven
time.
past them. I've driven past them
Me
before. I know
too.
exactly what they are, but I've never been in them before.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm in prep every time I'm on the road. Like if I'm on the road like that, I'm driving to a show, so it's not like I can pull over and fudge and all the BS that I see everybody getting. I'm like, man, that looks good, but there's no point in me putting myself in that position if I can't have anything. So
Yeah, true. Well, and this is what I said too. I'm like, I just don't feel good after I eat all that junk. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I don't ever have a desire to eat it because I just don't feel good.
yeah,
Like even at the holiday party, I did have a piece of pepperoni pizza because I really wanted it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna have a piece of pizza. And I was blocked up the next day because of the fucking dairy. So I was like, that wasn't even worth it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
It's usually the
yeah.
high fats and the high oils that like kill like pizza. Every time an athlete of mine has pizza, they're like, man, that was a mistake. I'm like, this is why I tell you guys to do high protein, high carb.
Yep.
I'm essentially saying stay the fuck away from pizza.
That's right. Yeah. For me, it's not even it's the dairy for me. Like I just
Yeah.
can't handle the dairy. Like I could handle if it was just bread and like sauce, I'd be fine. But
Right.
nah, I can't handle all that. So
Yeah.
it just is what it is. Every once in a while I'll do it because I really want it. And then I'm glad that I did it because I don't want to do it again.
Of course. And listen,
know?
life's about balance,
That's
like if
right.
you have a pizza once every quarter, like that's no big deal. Like,
That's
but
right.
but obviously if you have a daily dairy intolerance or you just haven't had high fats in a while, like you can't expect your body to just be like, oh, cool, let me process this,
Yes. Yes.
regularly. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Risk versus reward.
That's right. Well, and I can say like I've got a handful of clients I've worked with for over a year now at this point, and it's been really nice the last, since Thanksgiving, actually seeing them go through this whole period and having a much more healthy relationship with the food and with going to these parties and enjoying themselves but not overindulging. Like it's been really, that for me has been really rewarding to see that they've been able to manage this really well.
Yeah, me too. Like this is one of my best years as a coach with my roster and how they've been handling the holidays. Like most people, I told you like only two binged for Thanksgiving. Like this has been like the coolest year that I've seen my roster like checking in post a holiday and being like I was able to enjoy and like I was only up like a pound and a half and I felt really empowered or I made this decision and that decision. Like everybody just had like a really positive experience. And like when I used to just do lifestyle coaching, the week after the holidays was always the worst, because you're managing all the emotions behind what they ate and how much weight they gained, etc. And so it's cool like to be at this point in my career where like I have athletes that respect me, but ultimately respect their goals,
Yeah.
like they have a very clear vision and they feel like they have a good direction. And so they want to stay on point, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. And just the lifestyle change too, because like one of the things I see happen a lot during this time of year is people start advertising my 90-day challenge to lose weight and blah 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 and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, I understand the thought process behind that, but that signifies it's a temporary thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't like these weight loss challenges because whether it's 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is, then you're done. That's not how this works.
Then what?
Everybody could restrict for 90 days and lose weight. Everybody can do that. But what do you do when the 90 days is over with? You go back to your normal habits and guess what happens? Everything comes back, So it's been very rewarding to be able to break people out of that mindset, that thought process of this is a once we do 90 days, then we're done and we can go back to to normal. It's like, no, 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 that normal is this every day, that's normal. So
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
really good point. It's a really,
Yeah.
really good point, especially like with lifestyle clients, because, their biggest question is always like, well, am I going to have to do this forever? And it's like, well, you're not going to have to do like extreme dieting forever to get to your goal. But yes, if you want to get to a goal weight and maintain it, you are going to have to do some sort of dieting,
Mhm,
for the rest of your life. But, that doesn't mean that you can't track macros and get foods in
mhm.
there that you want and, have variety in your diet and things like that. I just, that's the biggest thing about diet culture. It's got to be so hard and it's got to be so strict. And, especially with lifestyle, it's really calories in versus calories out, good choices.
Yep.
A lot of my lifestyle athletes, I still have a lifestyle athlete on my roster from 6 years ago when I first started, and she's hit accolades of goals that we've created over the years. And she's just like, I can't stop coaching or else I'm going to revert right back to my old habits if I don't have someone to check in with. And
Yeah.
I respect that. Like,
Yep.
it means more to her to pay me a fee for coaching every month to ensure that she stays on her shit.
Mhm. That's right. That translates over to every other aspect of life too. It's just like with like even with therapy and stuff like that, or like they always talk about like alcoholics. You're a recovering alcoholic. You're never cured of alcoholism. You're recovering always. That's why you go to Alcoholics Anonymous every week or every month or whatever it is. You have to keep up that habit in order to stay on the straight and narrow. It's the same thing here. Food is an addiction for some people. It just is. It's an addiction. So you have to have somebody that's going to help you and be in your corner to help you through those time frames. It's not something you can just say, "Oh, I'm cured." No, it doesn't work like that. Because the other part of it is like you're literally getting bombarded with advertising and commercials and all this kind of stuff all day, every day, trying to take you off of your path.
Yeah.
So
Plus the
that's
people
hard.
around you. Like everybody that's checking in this week is like, I feel like the office is a personal attack. I walk
Yes.
in and patients are giving me something and the back office has something and this and this and this. And it's like I'm surrounded by food at all times, and
Yep.
it's hard for people to make those decisions to say no. Like just because
Yep.
something's there, you don't have to have it, or you can have one, not 100,
Yes.
But
Well,
it
that's
is, it's
actually kind of a good
difficult.
segue in what we wanted to talk about today, which is this kind of nebulous area between Christmas and New Year's where like it feels like time has no value. It's like, don't know what day of the week it is, don't know if it's daytime or evening because the sun goes down so early, all that kind of stuff. So this is that time frame where a lot of people fall completely off because they just don't have, they're off from work, you know, whatever it is. They've got the leftover crap in their house from holiday parties and Christmas and things like that. And they just start falling off so that when they get to New Year's, I've seen so many people on New Year's that have gained like 10 pounds in a week because they just sat on their ass, done nothing but eat junk, you know? So kind of want to talk a little bit about how to use this time frame to set up your 2026 goals. Use it as a time. I don't necessarily think you have to be like, okay, get on it, on it, on it, but just take time to reflect and sit back. So, you know, what are some of the things that either you do or you've told your clients to do during that time frame in order to set themselves up for success in the next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this time of year, we just allow ourselves too much flexibility. It's almost like we take one day off plan, like Christmas, and then the next day we wake up and instead of saying, okay, I had that one day, that was really fun, I'm going to get back on my plan today. Sometimes we go, okay, well, I had a lot of fun yesterday. So, like, why am I going to stop now? What's another day? And then
Mhm,
before you know it, it's been 3 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks. Now we're New Year's and we're up that 10 pounds. So,
mhm,
with anything, I always encourage my clients to start thinking about this now in a non-emotional brain. You know,
mhm.
like what's going on Christmas Eve and Christmas? You have one on track meal. Where are you going to use it? On the other events, what are we going to do about that? What tools are we going to put in place? Are we going to bring a meal? Are we going to, bring a recipe? What does that look like? Are we going to hoard macros and track macros, based on what the people are having, whatever. But have that thought and process now in a non-emotional brain. That way, when you get there, it's already set in stone and you accomplish that goal. I also tell my athletes all the time, enjoy the holiday with your family, but the next day you're right back on plan. So when grandma's shoving leftovers in your face or, take this, take that, don't get it all out of the house. And if you host, sorry, you might have to throw away some food or go donate it to the homeless.
Yeah.
Like that's where a lot of people I think get very caught up because they don't want to throw away food, which I understand, but hopefully you have other people in your household that can eat leftovers. That doesn't mean that you have to. Just you don't have to continue the holiday for multiple days in a row.
Mhm,
Something else too is like one of my athletes checked in last week and basically said like I had a really tough week, I wasn't able to stay on plan, I had all these things going on and here's all the things I did. And so they had pizza, multiple pizzas, they drank out with their friends one night and they had multiple white Russians. So fine, you ate off plan, you didn't have your meals prepared, but could we have made a different decision?
mhm,
Instead of pizza, could we have ordered Chipotle
mhm,
or a steak, Outback? I don't care, something that's better than pizza.
mhm.
Instead of a white Russian, which is filled with creamer and fats, could we have had a tequila soda or a
Mhm.
glass of wine? So at the end of the day, like, cool, you got off plan, but could we have made better decisions while
Yep.
coming off plan, right? So I think that's just where as humans we're emotional and sometimes we make decisions like I deserve this and this and that, and maybe you do, but
Yeah.
then every choice in life does come with a consequence. So if you're going to eat like that, then check in with your coach the following week and you're up 6 pounds and you're boo-hooing because you can't believe this happened to you. This is where you have to own it and reflect
Mhm.
on your choices. I appreciate the athletes that tell me they've had pizza and white Russians and then they're like, I'm sorry that I own it. This is what it is. What do you want me to do from here?
Yep.
And then too, like if you know that you're spiraling and you're out of control, it's just a really good time to reach out to your coach. Like, don't come up with the excuse, I didn't want to bother you. What you really didn't want to do is you didn't want to reach out to me in the middle of the binge because you just wanted to continue with your binge. And that's
That's right.
okay. But
That's right.
ask for help so that I can meet you in the middle. So so what I tell my athletes when it comes to holidays is take the day
Mhm,
for most of them. Take the day, enjoy, intuitively eat, wake up, have a nice breakfast. You're probably going to be pretty full from breakfast through the
mhm.
remainder of the day when you're opening gifts and going to people's houses, this, that, or the other. And then have that nice Christmas dinner. And then the next day, we're right back on plan. There's no extra cardio that needs to be done. Just get right back to your macros. And a lot of that's going to fall off, just from the sodium and the extra food volume.
Yeah. I agree with all those things. And just like you were saying, like calling your coach, that was what we were just talking about with the whole like Alcoholics Anonymous, call your sponsor. It's the same thing. Like, that's what we're here for. That's what you pay us for. You know what I mean? That's what we're here to help with. And some other things, like just some things to help with that time frame too. I know my family, when they get together, they like to sit around, eat and drink and watch Christmas movies. That's what they like to do, right? So that's cool, that's fine. But I would also say, like, if you're one of those people, the way to manage that situation, like what I did at the holiday party. Go get your food, your plate of food, go sit down, eat, then go back or whatever. I did see some of the ladies there stand at the food line and just pick the whole night. They were over there just picking everything. That adds up really, really quick. And the other thing is there's a drink area, right? So there's sodas, there's sugary drinks, there's punch, there's all that stuff, and there's tea and there's water, right? Get yourself some tea and some water. I know for myself, if I get myself a hot drink, it's going to take me a lot longer to drink that hot drink than it is a cup of punch. You know what I mean? So manage your time that way. The ways that you can still be social and still do those things. Then also, I would say try to schedule some things that are active. There's a lot of things to do during the Christmas time frame where you can go be active, go Christmas tree hunting, go ice skating, go
Walk around,
shopping.
look at lights.
Yeah, yeah, go look at Christmas lights, all those kinds of things. Those are things that you can go and be active doing, get some of that food moving through your system and all of that. And then what I would also say is, like you mentioned, set yourself up for success with the breakfast, but I would say sit down with a journal too. Whether you do it first thing in the morning or you do it at night before you go to bed, I would honestly get up, get a cup of coffee, grab your journal and start writing down, what you want to do that day, what your goals are, why you're doing what you're doing, so that you have that fresh in your mind as you go through the day. So then that will set you up so that you don't screw up throughout the day, right? Like, I know I schedule everything around my check-in day, like Wednesday morning. I know Tuesday night I need to go to bed early. I know I got to do certain things in order in order to be up and ready and fresh and ready to go when I get up in the morning for my morning check-in. This morning, oh my God, I was cracking up this morning. I was like, of course. I woke up this morning, I went to go step on my scale, and my scale is dead. I have no battery. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I was like, so I was like, well, I could just check in without my weight. I'm like, but I'm not gonna do that. I said, there's a Walgreens right down the street. So I finished the rest of my check-ins, went and got batteries at Walmart, came back and took my weight. I was so mad. I threw me all off, but whatever. But I still got it done. But again, doing things that are normal during that time frame, that when you're, again, a lot of times people just sit at home and they say, okay, just fuck it or whatever. Instead, do the things you normally do, set yourself up for success, and maybe add a few other things in there. I've actually told several of my clients, because again, they're going to be traveling for Christmas. They don't know if they're going to be able to stick to their workouts because they don't have their gym because they're traveling. I was like, bring your bands with you. You can always get a banded workout in no matter where you are, and that way you stay on task. I was like, and sit down and figure out what you really want to accomplish in 2026. I always say take your goal and work your way backwards. So whatever your goal is in 2026, I have a lot of girls that have never stepped on stage that want to get on stage next year. Set that goal, say this is the time frame we're going for that, and let's work our way backwards. Figure out that game plan now. Figure out that game plan between Christmas and New Year's, so that you're like, when you hit New Year's, you're like, okay, we're ready to go. We got the game plan in place. We got the steps that we have to follow in order to get to where we want to go. And that again takes that area where you're kind of up in the air and don't know what day it is, and gives you something specific to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, the choices you make now are going to affect your prep in the future. And the lie that I used to tell myself is, "Oh, I'm starting prep on January 1st, so I should enjoy these last 2
Mhm.
weeks of prep or of off season." And within those 2 weeks, you can really set yourself back for the first start of your prep. Like if you put
Mhm.
on a good 4 to 6 pounds of fat right before you start prep, like that's going to be really hard for you to peel off because your body's just going to be just all up in sorts. So I love that idea, and this isn't talking about like New Year's resolutions. This is, what are my intentions for next year in terms of my health and fitness goals, and what choices am I making now to align with those? And we're not saying to not enjoy the holiday, just
Right.
enjoy the holiday within reason. And just like Sean is saying, like, you wake up every day, you take your weight. I would still do that.
Yep.
Insight in mind, right? Like, we're probably not going to like what we see on the scale the day after the holiday, but it sure is going to put us right back into, man, I should probably stick to my macros today, right? So insight in mind. Don't avoid the scale during this time of year. And
Yeah.
doing the same things you do every day. If you have a step count, try to hit your step count. Try to go for a walk in the morning and things like that. Like I tell my athletes, like, I don't really care if you train next week. Like I would rather you spend the time with your family. Like it's no big deal. Literally 1 week out of the gym is not going to do anything, but we should still stick to like our basics of getting some movement in and staying on top of our
Yep.
water and, and
Yep.
getting good sleep and, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Really it's at the end of the day is it's balance. That's all
Mhm.
it is. You can't lean too far left, too far right. Just try to find what that middle ground is for you. Like the time of the holidays, again, it's not about the food. Food's a part of it, but it is about rest and relaxation and getting realigned with our goals for this year and spending time with family. Like those are the things that we should really be focusing on.
Yeah. And I think everybody has a little bit of a different mindset going into it as well. Like one of my clients, we are starting prep January 1st. That's the goal, as soon as we get through New Year's. And so I was like, listen, I was like, I said this to her this week, but I said to her last week too. I said, you've got 3 weeks left to really make an impact on your off season. I said, I want you to stick to I actually gave her a really healthy macro bump last week. And it was hard for her to eat all of her food, and I was like, I did it on purpose because I know she's a social person. I know she wants to go to these dinners and stuff like that. So I knew if I gave her more food, it was going to be harder for her to overeat on crap. So I was like, I did it on purpose. So she's listening out here, I did it on purpose. But I was like, listen, I was like, you've got 3 weeks left to make the most of this improvement season. Really stick to it as best you can so that way we can hit the ground running as soon as we get into the new year. Like we have goals. We've been working all year this off season to get you to a point where you're going to be in a much healthier position to go into your season next year. Let's freaking make the most of these last few weeks. And it's only again, this is last week. This is only 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks away. We're almost there. We're
We're
almost
right
that
there.
finish line. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're at the
just
finish
stick
line.
to it. Just stick to it. You've done it all year long. Just stick to it. 3 more weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just, like talking about these things now with your coach this week in your check-ins or, going into early next week, like if you don't even know where to start or how to think about that, or that seems just really out of touch, ask for help. Like that's what we're here
Mhm.
for. Like I keep telling my athletes, like I'm not changing your plan next week. Next week's
Mhm.
Christmas, but reach out to me so that we could talk through strategies or travel or this, that, or the other. That way you feel super confident and comfortable in your plan for next week.
Yep, absolutely. Because it's, and again, we're not sitting here saying like, fuck the holidays and don't do the things that you want to do with your family and friends. We're not saying that at all because it's important. Those are, if of all things in life, those things are most important. You know what I mean? But there's just ways to do it that are going to be more healthy and sustainable for you, just like anything else. Like we were talking at the beginning of this, it's way better for you to eat chicken and rice every day than pizza and beer. It just is what it is. You're still having the same content going into your body as far as nutrition or food or whatever, but the nutrition value is different. So it's the same thing here. You're still having that quality time with your family and friends. It's just better for you versus bad for you. you know
Yeah, like we're all playing the game, but what we're trying to help you with is establishing a little bit of defense to
yeah.
protect yourself. Like
Yeah.
we're not telling you not to play the game, have fun, drink, things like that, but and make choices that
Yeah.
are going to be more aligned with where you want to be come January 1.
And again, like this simple things too, like it's snowing in Virginia and stuff like that too. So instead of having a snowblower to get rid of the snow in the driveway, go shovel it yourself, things like that. Silly little things, but that you're still doing the same thing. It's just in a better way of doing it for you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It gives you that activity. Again, if you can't get to the gym to go get your cardio in by shoveling snow, right? So whatever it is.
A task I will never know about ever.
I know, something you don't have to ever deal with, but
Yes.
it is what it is. Yeah, it's so I grew up in New York, so I'm used to snow. The difference is that New Yorkers are adept to snow. We have equipment for snow. Virginians do not. like Dan got his car stuck in the ditch, and even the tow truck got stuck in the ditch trying to get the car out. So it's like
What a
that kind of
mess.
that kind of
Yikes.
thing. like my dad, when I was younger, his side gig is he had a snowplow in the front of his truck. So he would actually go plow out parking lots for businesses. That was like his side gig. So he'd be sitting in the parking lot at 4 a.m. plowing out the
Smart.
Yeah, for that was his like side thing. Whenever there was snow, he was on call for that for certain businesses and stuff. So we're used to it. Versus Virginia, people don't know what the fuck to do with themselves.
That's it.
But there's a reason why I don't live up in New York anymore. There's a
That's right.
very real reason. Very real reason. I was watching a reel the other day, and the guy was like, "Oh, he's saying, why do I live here?" He's like, "Why do I do this to myself? Like, why did we think this was a good idea?"
Yeah, my entire family's from New York, and I was the only one that was born in Florida for this reason.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yep.
know that.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because you're not doing your New York trip. Did you see the comment that was put out there about your New York trip that was put on
I
our
did. Yeah, they
to
were
go during
saying
the
to
week?
come like, yeah, and yeah, I have I have deleted the Christmas dream of New York City in my brain. So
Really? Oh my
Drew is
God.
standing
Okay.
in front of me doing yes right now. Yeah, I think I romanticize it, and I'm not a fan of crowds, and I love the cold weather, but I don't want to be like walking with like my nose drooping and things coming out of my mouth when it's that cold, like that wind
Yeah.
chill. So I'm just gonna table that. I'm tabling that dream, and I'm gonna watch it through social media reels.
Well, I'm gonna be kind of the devil's advocate here because I've gone to New York City for Christmas time several times, and it is a good experience. Now, that said, I actually enjoy like fall and spring in New York better than Christmas time. But
Yeah,
it is something that's a really cool experience with like the Rockefeller Center tree and Bloomingdale's with all that Macy's and all that stuff with all their Christmas decor and all that kind of stuff. So it is a thing. Um, at this point in my life, I don't think I would do it again because I did it several times when I was younger. So I'm gonna be like I said, I'm gonna be a little bit of a devil's advocate here and say
no, I
you
just
still
feel like it
should do
has to
it.
be like a girls' trip, and it has to be like that, like our listener was saying, like late November, early December.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
see, maybe next year,
yeah,
but this year we're going to Napa tomorrow. I am so freaking excited to go slow and drink wine and
yeah.
sleep in, and it's just more Drew and I's pace. So, and that's really what the trip is about, is for him and I to reconnect and have our one of our last personal trips before
Pro
January
season
1st.
again.
Crazy. Yeah,
You
super
know.
super 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 crazy.
I know. So we didn't even get into. We don't have time today, so we got our coaches meeting, but we didn't even get into like the Arnold lineup and stuff like that. So we'll have to talk about that like next week or something. So
Sure.
I go into that a little bit and talk about the fun of the season starting again.
Can't believe it.
All right. Um, but with that said, guys, our biggest piece of advice, I guess, going into these next few weeks is to just remember, like, you still want to enjoy yourself, but do it with purpose, just like anything else. Do it with purpose. Set yourself up for success. Remember that what you do in the next 10 days is not going to completely like fuck your whole life up, but it can set you
But
up for
it,
success.
yes, exactly.
What were you gonna say?
But it could. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew it was gonna be something like that. So I was like, I wanted to let you finish your thought.
No, it
But
won't.
in
It
reality,
won't.
it could actually fuck your whole life up. So
I mean, if you're eating sun up to sundown for multiple days in a row, yes, it will fuck your life up. But
yeah,
I know our listeners; they have good education here. They won't do that.
I used to make this like pumpkin mousse thing that I really really love, but it's huge. Like it's a big tub of it, and like we would have it for one day, and it would literally last for like almost 2 weeks. That was
Are
bad.
you
I
gonna bring?
hate
Are
it.
you gonna make it?
No, fuck no.
No.
No. Like I would make it if I had people coming over or something like that. Like I would make it
Yeah.
for that. But I'm not I made a fruit salad for the holiday party and more than half it got eaten, so I was happy about that. I was like, all right, cool.
There you
I was like,
go.
and even that wasn't bad. It was whipped cream, marshmallows, and fruit. That's all it was. So even
Yeah.
that wasn't bad for you. But I'm like, okay, but even just the marshmallows and the whipped cream is like a lot of sugar. So I was like, I don't want to have that in my house. I was
Yeah,
like, y'all
but
need
like
to eat
that
this.
or a chocolate cake,
Yes. No, you're
right?
absolutely right.
This
You're
would be the
absolutely
better
right.
decision. That's what we're
Yes.
talking about. What's the better? They're both yummy. Just what's the better decision between the two?
And I think that's why most of it got eaten because there was a lot of other junk food options. There was like cookies and cake and candy and stuff like that, but the fruit salad got eaten more. So,
There
yeah.
you go. Good job.
Thank God, because I didn't need it in my house. So, with that said, we'll be back again, of course, before the New Year's out. But just start setting yourself up for success now.
Yes.
All right, guys. So with that, we're gonna let y'all go because we got a coaching call to get on, and we'll be back next time. So for Behind the Bikini, we are out. Bye, guys.